Hey guys, Gundam97 again. This time a review of the 1/100 scale Gundam F90 V-Type VSBR from the Gundam F90 Model Kit series, later adapted into a manga and then into a video game, and is actually the titular character of the game. You can see it right here on the box, even though you don't get it until much later in the game. Then, as for the model kit, the base model is pretty good. You get their pretty basic Gundam colors, but one cool thing about this is it has system injection molding, just like all the other F90s out there. So, the thing about it is, the red and the yellow is already molded onto the white, so you don't have to separately put it on there. Same goes for the red here, the yellow there, the V-fin, and the red on the chin. The one disadvantage of system injection molding is it has to go in there somehow. So there's going to be a nice red one over there and a nice red one, if you can make it out, a nice red nub mark right over there. So that is kind of unfortunate. Also, it's a model kit, so I guess they kind of figured that, you know, it's probably a better idea to just give you the red parts and the yellow parts that you have to put it together yourself, rather than already kind of pre-building it. Anyway, moving on. So you just have your basic colors. You have a lot of white going on. It's quite nice. You have some dark blue highlights, mainly on the hard points on the actual model itself. So you have it on the body, all of these hard point covers, and then on the bottom of the feet. Now, there's also red on the model, but there's no separate red pieces. They're all part of the system injection molding. Then for the yellow pieces, only these two aren't part of the system injection molding. Then you have gray for the backpack, joints here and there. And that's about it for the normal colors. For the basic model, you also get very nice clear blue, and also get for the eyes. Unfortunately, you do not get a sticker for the eyes, but hey, you can trace around them with black Gundam marker, and they will stand out quite nicely. Then, for the VSBR pack, one unfortunate thing is they're only molded in the same dark blue as the rest of the model. The one really cool thing, however, is we do get a very cool clear green beam shield. Really nicely detailed, and that thing is simply awesome. Now, onto the stickers. These guys usually come with a lot of stickers, and it's not really an exception, this one. Not as much as the other ones, but still quite sticker heavy. So let's go over all of them. Black one here, of course on the other side as well. Then we go up, gray and yellow one here, here, red triangle here, here, gray one in the vents, gray one around here, and just like the P-type, it doesn't go around all the way. It does on the ADS type, but not here, for some reason. Then you have the gray one here, no stickers on the face, unfortunately. The gray one wraps around here, yellow and black one goes in there, yellow triangles. On the back, oh, here on the side we have this one, yet another yellow triangle. We have the red one here, the yellow one that wraps around, and this one, unfortunately, this one kind of broke. It tear when I tried to peel it off the sticker sheet. So that is a bit unfortunate, and it seems like it's very random. Like, for me, this one had it, but the other ones didn't really seem to have that same problem. So that is kind of, you know, hit and miss. Maybe yours has it, maybe yours doesn't. So that's all for the stick. Oh, and of course we also have the one here in his butt, and then one right here. Now the weird thing about those was that they still have some gray around them, and that would mean that they literally go over the hole. So you don't really have this three-dimensional thing going on. You just have it flat, which is kind of weird. So I highly recommend cutting off the gray part, so you just put it on there. So that's all for stickers on the normal, well, on the base model. Then on the VSBR we have some more stickers. We have the red one here, same red one on the spare one. We have a red one here on the Gatling gun. Well, pretty much anything that is not blue. The white ones are two big ones there. We have a gray one there, and then we have these ones there and there. We have the triangle here. All the white are stickers, and that is your lot. So, like I said, not as much as with other ones, but they are still definitely there. And unfortunately, this means that this is going to require a lot of painting if you want it to look absolutely spot on. Then onto articulation. Head goes up, down, rotates around all the way. Arms rotate around all the way too. Go up about that far, down like that. We'll rotate around and will come apart. I think we've all seen that a bunch of times already in my previous F90 reviews. The arms still suck, as they always have. So they bend for not even close to 90 degrees, that's like 60. Hands are on ball joints, will wiggle around, turn around, and do everything a ball joint does. The waist, no movement at all, just one solid brick. Legs go forward about that far, and that's when the front skirts are going to pop off. Go out, not too bad. We'll also rotate around a bit on them ball joints and go backwards about that far. Then bend at the knee at one joint. Well, not really the greatest bend ever. Then the feet are quite nicely articulated. Go forwards a bit, backwards quite a lot. Side to side also a bit, and we'll rotate around. And pieces will, as always, fall off on this model. So overall, the articulation isn't horrible, it's not great, it's kind of what you would expect for the time. It's like, yeah, it hasn't really aged that well, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, also has the nifty side-to-side movement, which might come in handy or might look quite nice with some of the more actiony poses. Then onto accessories, the base ones that we're getting. The usual beam rifle has a hole in there, so it will go on the hard points. Fortunately, no movable handle, but it still looks as great as it always has. Pretty standard, but the nice detailing does make it stand out. Then we're also getting a shield. Once again, it's a white piece of plastic with some gray plastic on the other side. So yeah, this really isn't an interesting looking thing. Goes in the hand and won't stay in the slightest. The only way to get this to hold is put it on the ground, as always. But really, we're getting a much cooler shield, so let's just throw this away and never look at it again. And now that all the hardpoint covers have been removed, let's look at the VSBR. First of all, we're getting two new hands, unfortunately, because, well, the VSBR pack is molded all in blue. The hands are all in blue too, with a nice white sticker. Though, fortunately, oh, wrong one. Fortunately enough, the sticker actually likes to stay on this one. So that is a good thing. So, well, the blue hands kind of look a bit wrong, but let's stick with it for the time being. Then we get these usual fins, very reminiscent of a certain mobile suit. Putting them on there, there we go, not too bad. And unfortunately, those are going to require a lot of painting. Also, they're not mobile in any way. You just stick them in there, and that's how they're going to be. These ones, on the other hand, they are mobile. They are mobile and should stay all fixed. So what I was saying, unlike the shoulder mounted ones, these can actually move. So you can have them in active mode or stored mode, and to kind of get them to stay, yeah, your best bet is to kind of pull them out a bit. That way they'll really make sure that you have a good connection, and then put them on there and hope that they won't fall down again while you're trying to put them on there. Let's see, be careful, and there goes the bottom one. There we go, so let's, no, not again. Is it back in there? Yep, there we go. Alright, so those are all of those wing things. Now, let's see what else we get. So for the arms, we get these few extra things. And these are kind of to simulate that the hard point has been broken up into two pieces. So instead of the front thing, we're now getting a little blue Gatling gun. If he goes in there, there we go. And then on the other arm, we're getting the beautiful beam shield. If it's willing to go in there, and the polycaps are once again being annoying. So just gonna put that in there. There we go, very nice. Just gotta be careful that the arm won't fall out, as it is kind of prone to happening. And then I forgot to remove the hard points on his skirt armor. So just pull these two out, and then on the right side we get a spare beam generator, beam shield generator, and the cool thing is this is actually the same as the one we have on the arm. The only difference is, well, you just got to put that adapter piece on there, and that just mounts on that peg, and then it will connect it to the arm, and it will take this beam just as well. So unfortunately you can't dual wield the shield because you only get one of those adapter pieces. And then on the other side we get two beam sabers. Unfortunately, as you can see, you cannot remove them from the holder, which is a bit of a bummer, because, well, we do get the two beam sabers in there, but unfortunately, one, now you can't make it look like you pulled one out, and two, these are the same ones as you get with all of the F90 models, and those two beam sabers are quite radically different, especially the tip of the beam sabers. You can see much wider, whereas these are almost entirely flat. These are just the standard traditional beam sabers. So yeah, I could have used a bit more attention to detail there. Then on front, we get these here with some yellow stickers on them. They just go in the front skirts. In they go, some extra mobility. And finally, when we turn around, we get this extra thruster that goes on his butt. Simply open everything up, put in there, and a really nice indentation for the top clamp to go onto. Just get that in there, come on. So that's cool, so it's nice and flush on there. Slide it in, and finally, of course, the VSBRs themselves. They have sliding handles. They don't go in, but they slide in and out. So up is in store mode, and then they will go down for active mode. And as you can see, the stickers, they don't really like to stay all that much. Go in there again, there we go. And well, this will just go up and down and slightly in and out on a ball joint. So in order to mount it, you have to remove the entire backpack, and then you simply put this on there. Come on, there we go. And then you simply slide it to the front. And this is really why we get those extra... Never mind that, and this is why we get those extra hands. Simply try to jam them in there. What the hell fell off again? And there we go. They're not going to be a perfect fit. Oh dear. I'm not going to have anything... And to wrap things up, some notes on compatibility. First, here we have the cluster Gundam, and almost everything will be compatible, except for, you know, it's the backpack itself. So no VSBRs for the cluster. You can, however, have all the wings, the Gatling gun, the beam rifle, which actually fits much better in his hands than in the, well, kind of dedicated hands of the F90. You have the beam shield, the things there, the extra butt thruster. So it all works in there, except for, well, the legs. They kinda work and kinda don't. And I don't think I've specifically mentioned that these flaps here, of course, also go in and out. So yeah, they're kind of tacked on, but you know, when you look at it from the front, it's not too bad. Actually looks kind of good on the Cluster Gundam. But then on the Gun Blaster, something you might expect to work too, well, the legs aren't going to work, so that leaves us with only the Gatling gun that will work on there, the beam shield that will go on there, and then, yeah, the extra beam shield goes on the side skirt, and the 2 beam sabers that go on that side skirt. Oh, and of course, the extra thruster should work on there too. And it's probably a bit unnecessary that I mention this, but of course the F90-2 uses the exact same hard points as the normal F90, so you can transform the F90-2 into the VSBR type with ease. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? Well, for 1,500 yen, it's not too bad of a deal. It's a very interesting machine, though it could definitely use some painting. So if you're willing to paint it, this is going to look pretty good, and it's just nice to have this machine around as a predecessor to the F91. It's cool to see where it came from, because yes, it's more bulky, doesn't look as refined, but that's also kind of the charm this thing has going, because you really see it's like they were trying to make it work. It still looks like an add-on, but they're getting there, and then they developed it into the F91. So it's really cool to have just this machine and then the old school F91 here. It's cool to have them like side to side and see how things kind of develop. Instead of having these things here sticking out and then there sticking out, they were able to make it much smaller and much more refined and just store them inside of the shoulder arm. So it's really quite cool to see how the technology developed. So in that aspect, I think this is a pretty nice thing. If you like F91, or if you just want to give the F90 model kits a shot, I think this might be a cool thing to just get started. You get the basic F90, you get a really nice shield, and as I said before, the base model is okay, so it really just depends on how you like the pack and whether or not you're willing to paint, because this is actually going to require a lot of paint. The only real blue things are the things here on this leg that store the wing thingies, and then what else is blue, you might wonder? Well, the VSBRs themselves are kind of blue, and that's pretty much it. You have the shield is blue as well, so you're gonna have to do a lot of painting if you want this thing to look good. But once painted up, it's gonna be a quite interesting looking thing. And as I've said before, it is one of the titular mobile suits of the Formula Wars 0122. So it's really a cool thing to have. And now then, let's do some size comparisons, because of course it is late Universal Century. It's not gonna be a big machine. Next to the 1/100 scale Monster Grade Jim-Kai, you can see it's a pretty small thing. Even the high grade Unicorn Destroy mode is, well, it's bigger in head height, and the V-fin just is about the same size as the top of the fins there. So yeah, it's definitely not the biggest machine, but for 1,500 yen, it's still a pretty nice value that you're getting. So now let's compare it next to, once again, the F90, and let's also bring the F91, and let's bring in the F90-2. Now you see, not too bad looking. And for some more contemporary mobile suits, I'll bring in the RXF91, and these are similarly priced, and you can definitely see that when you look at the pricing, it's definitely not too bad of a deal. This 1,400 yen, 1,500 yen, and this, well, the accessories he comes with, you can use them with other machines, so it's not too bad of a deal. And finally, let's bring in the Hardy gun. So, that's all for this review, and see you guys next time.